Welcome to Wake Up and Make Up Special Edition. We are talking about a very sensitive and heartbreaking story today, and I'm joined by Lucy, who I believe, after hearing her story, you'll be moved to do something. Lucy, thank you so much for coming. I know it is not easy to share what you're about to share with us, but let's just take it back from the heartbreaking time when your mom left.
My mom and dad separated when I was about 4 years old, and mom left us with dad and my younger brother, and she never came back. And we were brought up by relatives, and there was my dad's cousin who used to live with us, and he started molesting me as young as 7 years, 8 years. And I had absolutely no one to tell because there was no one to listen to me. I had a very difficult childhood that I became a rebellious child because of what was happening behind the scenes. And at 15, I met maybe the only man who said he loved me. And I thought I fell in love, if that was love back then.
As you said, he's the only man that you felt that he loved you and told you that he loved you.
Yeah, and at this time, my dad passed on when I was 6 years. I was in Form 2 back then, and I fell hook, line, and sinker.
You know, that's the worst time. Actually, that's the worst time to meet someone and fall in love, because it's called puppy love.
So true. Yeah. Actually, it was not even love. And before I knew it, I had fallen up. I've gotten pregnant. I was in Form 3 when I got pregnant. And I knew I had to do something because I couldn't stay at home with my pregnancy. And fortunately or unfortunately, the man decided now I can take care of both of you. And I did my KCSE from his house. I had my second baby at 18. And I remember when I got pregnant and I told him I'm pregnant. At this time, he was moving out with my best friend. He was going out with my best friend. We had misunderstandings, and I went back home. And at this time, my grandmother had passed on. So I absolutely had no one. And I was so depressed. Life continued, and at 7 months, I couldn't bear it anymore. So I decided it's better I go back to my house and stay with my husband instead of all this. And I talked to him, and we decided, yes, why not?
And now this is after he was having a relationship with your best friend.
Yeah, he was still having an affair with her, but I didn't care. I had no option. So I went back, and we went on with life. We would do casual jobs here and there. We would get something to eat. And fortunately, God opened a door for him to live to the US. And he went there and stayed for 2 years, and life changed for us because he would send us money. And I did various things here and there. And one of them was buying a plot somewhere. And I kept cows, and I had pigs, and I had chickens, and I put someone there to take care of them. So after 2 years, he decided, now let me come back and see my family. And when he came back, we decided before he goes back, we have another baby. And I got pregnant again, and that is when he changed again, because he started now being violent. My pregnancy was problematic, so I was not able to work. He would leave me without food, and I came to realize later that he had sold all the livestock and even the plot. One day he brought 2 women in the house in the wee hours of the morning, and they were making a lot of noise in the bedroom. I was 5 months pregnant. And I knocked on the door just to tell them to just be quiet because of the children. He opened the door, slapped me, and rolled me down the stairs. And threw money at me and told me, go have an abortion. That is the last day I was in that house. I gathered my children and just left with them. And with the money, I counted the money. It was about 20,000. And I knew this is the money, the only money I have between me and these children, and I have to start something with this money. So I looked for a house. I got a small house for 500 shillings. I bought some basic items and we started living. And with the rest of the money, I started a business of, I would get charcoal from Narok in wholesale and sell to retailers. And that is what I did till the last day I went to hospital. I actually took myself to hospital and I had my daughter now. And I went back home.
Yeah.
And now I couldn't do this business. And with the little money I had saved, I decided now this money I have now to start another business because this will not sustain us for long. So what I did is I looked for a mature woman I knew, and I told her, now you will live with my children. I'm starting another business. I would buy clothes from Isli and take them to Southern Sudan. And the business did so well. So well, it picked up quickly. Unfortunately, I bought a phone, which was a stolen phone, and I didn't know.
Wow.
So what I did is I was tracked down, and I was arrested, and I stayed in Central Police Station from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and on Monday morning I was taken to court.
Yeah.
And I took a plea of not guilty, and I was given a cash bail of 150, cash bail that you can pay and do your case while you're outside.
Yeah.
And I was not worried because I had that money in my account.
True.
So what I did is I called my friend back then. She was my best friend. So I asked her, this is my ATM, this is my PIN number. Go withdraw money today, tomorrow. Go pay bail, cash bail for me, and then come and pick me at Langata. And that was the beginning of my staying in Langata. She never came back. So I was in remand.
She took the money.
Yeah. I was in remand for 1 year, 8 months, until my case was withdrawn for lack of evidence. After now, my case being withdrawn, I went back home. And it's like now I was in shock. I was numb because not knowing where my children are. And at that time, my daughter was 2 years. Yeah.
And your eldest son was how old?
I think he was about 10. Yeah.
You know, Celine, I have kids, and to even imagine a day without them and not knowing what they're eating, what they're doing, where they're staying, it is so traumatic. I can't even imagine the kind of pain as a mother you were going through. You had no family members to just come and take over your children. So when you left, where did you start? You said you started by the house.
Yeah.
Then after that, what happened?
I searched from friends' houses now to like neighbors' house, those people who knew me. And what I came to realize is that my children were hopping from friend to friend. And I got to know where they were.
Wow.
And they were with a friend. And at this time, I was very sick. I had typhoid and amoeba. And I was so weak. And when I went there, when she saw me, she was happy. I thought she's happy now that I've come home. But she told me that now you're here, now that you're here, take your children and go. I've been burdened with your children and I don't need any more burden. I remember it was around 3 and I wondered, where am I going? And that is how our life of sleeping on the streets. And sometimes I would do casual jobs and I would get money. We would sleep in a lodging and sometimes on the streets when we didn't have money. And one night while we were sleeping, Remember it was in a shack, and men came from nowhere. I think they chanced on us, and they raped me. They gang raped me and sodomized me. And how my children slept throughout the ordeal, I do not know even to this date.
How many men were they, Celine?
Around 15 of them. Wow. And they had a gun. They would put it in my mouth. They strangled me, and they did all sort of things. And they left me for the dead. And in the morning, I was bleeding.
Of course.
And my son asked me what was happening. I told him that I'm just sick. And he called a friend and was taken to Kenyatta Hospital. And that is where I was treated. And the first thing they did was take me to theater.
Of course, yeah.
And for the whole of 2016, 2017, I was just concentrating on healing. There's this lady friend of mine. We met in prison. And she was starting an organization. And when she heard my story, she looked for people to hold me. And a certain church paid my rent and took my children back to school, and they said, let us take care of you for the time being as you concentrate on healing. And that's what happened. And when I began healing, she had started an organization that deals with women who are coming out of prison. And she told me, now that you're healing, come and work with us. And I went to the company and started working as a life coach. And at times I would work in the children department, children who accompany their mothers in prison. On 2017, December 2017, I was going home from work. Just a few meters from my gate, I met these guys and they said hi, and I said hi. And one of them came on my left side and the other one on my right side, and they told me, let's go this way. And they took me to this place whereby there's a river. This was on December 22nd, 2017. And a small path whereby it was a bush. And they tore my clothes, my trouser, and my blouse. And they gang raped me. And at this time they were laughing, they were doing all manner of things. And they sodomized me. And they put sticks in me. And I just became unconscious because of the pain. And when I came to, it was about midnight. And it was dark, they had left.
Did you see their faces?
No, they wore masks. And I keep saying that these are not the usual thugs, the dirty usual thugs. These ones were speaking in English. They were so clean. Their colognes were expensive. And I couldn't recognize them.
But you said that when they stopped you with the gun, when they said hello, that you all walked together to that place.
Yeah.
Had they worn masks at that time?
Yes. No. They had hoods. And this was a dark place. So
You can't even.
I can't even tell. They had hoods and they had Marvins. Yeah. I just pulled my bag and I took my phone and I called my sister-in-law. And I told her this and this has happened. This is where I am, because I knew the place. And if I manage to pull the sticks from me, I'll be able to crawl. If I'm not able to pull the sticks, you guys just come and find me here. and find someone to take me to hospital because I'm bleeding. They came, first of all reported, went to the police station and reported, because you cannot be treated without reporting first to the police station. Yeah.
So you had to go in that situation first
Yeah.
to the police station.
Yeah, and I remember actually when the policeman saw me, he just told them, just take her to hospital. Let me give you a note and take her to hospital. And I was taken to Nairobi Women, and I was admitted. And I was treated for about a month. And I went back to work on 27th of April 2018. There's this friend of mine who had come from Greece, and she called me and she just said, Celine, I'm going back tonight and I've not seen you. And kindly, can you come to my mom's place because I'm going tonight? And I decided, why not? I went with my children. My auntie was also there, and at night my children said, we won't go home with you, let us go with my aunt.
Yeah.
And I said, you can just go, because I was so tired and I needed to rest. So I went back home. At this time it was raining so hard. I just took a shower and went to bed. And in the middle of the night, I was woken by people in my house. And they had these flashlights that were beaming on my face. And I was so shocked.
Of course.
Now, because
in your house.
In my house.
Is it the same area where?
No, at this time I had moved now to another area. They pulled me out of my bed. They dragged me to the sitting room. And they told my night dress. And actually one of them broke my glass and started cutting me with my glass. And
were they speaking to you, or they were just?
They were speaking. They had a conversation, an ongoing conversation, a perverted conversation, so vulgar. And they gang raped me again, and again they sodomized me for almost 3 hours or 4 hours. And at this time they took a rolling pin and they forced it in me. And then they left. And
how many were they?
6. I took my phone and I called someone. And nobody was picking my call because it was late at night. It was almost morning, at around 2:30. And a friend who took my call was in Nairobi. And told him, please get an Uber for me and come with the Uber because this is happening. And so he came, and again, police station. And at this time was so bad, as in I had marks all over because they had cut my hands, and it was raining. It was, and then they took me to hospital. And again, I was, the first thing when I was taken to hospital was take me to theater. And now I lost my job again because I couldn't go back to work. I was not able to. At a time, I couldn't even walk. Being in Kenya this time with 3 children alone, and you pay rent, you don't have a job, and you're not able, there are some jobs I cannot do because my body is not able to handle, because I'm still, there are some wounds inside that have not healed.
So you need medical treatment for it to be able to be better.
For me to even go for a long call, I have to use medicine.
Where would you say you are right now, emotionally or physically?
In as much as I would want to heal emotionally, I'm not still at that place because I'm not working still. And for you to heal emotionally, you have to be at a stable place.
True.
I'm not still at a stable place. I'm still living on handouts from friends, and sometimes it's not even possible because you cannot expect someone to be doing you things all the time.
True.
Because they also have things to do. And at times you would find that my house has been locked. I'm living in a lodging somewhere all with my children. Times you'll find that my children are not in school. There's nothing to eat. And then actually at one time my daughter was rummaging for food, leftover food in my neighbor's dustbin. And that got me so much, because as a parent, you want to do something for your children, but then you're not able. You don't even know where to start. As in, you're even afraid of the world. You're even afraid of asking for help. And you live, people think that you're okay, but deep inside you're not okay, because you're afraid of asking for help, because of you don't know if you'll be judged, criticized, or even anything can happen out here.
True.
And I would really want to take my life back, to have that power that I can be able to provide for my children, and whereby I can be able to pay my rent and do so many other things.
Lucy, thank you so much for sharing your story, but I believe that we can do more as a society, as human beings. We can be able to support Lucy. We've opened a pay bill number for her, and we're hoping that we can be able to raise funds for you. I'm going to also just donate something. We're having the pay bill number down below. Until next time, thank you for watching Wake Up and Wake Up.